I think it's important for anyone who is dealing with prostate cancer to look at all the options. Over a year ago, when I went for my physical, they did the usual PSA test, and it all of a sudden was 8.5. That got my attention. Obviously, discussing this with Joyce all along the way, we said, well, let's look for what's new out there, because that's what we tend to do. Then I went to the methods of treatment, and to make a long story short, most of them that I read about and learned about, and even from talking with some friends, ended up with incontinence and loss of sexual function or partial loss of sexual function. Joyce and I enjoy a very good sexual relationship. We have always said that of all of our relations, we like sex the best. So we said, we don't really want to, at age 78, and Joyce is a little bit older, 79, we don't want to give that up at this point. We're still healthy, we're still active. That's a very important part of our relationship, and so let's do what we need to do in order to maintain that to the best degree. I found Sperling Prostate Cancer website and some other websites, started doing some telephone calling, emailing. I looked up the New England Journal of Medicine. I looked up some things from American Medical Association because I had picked up a new term, and that was focal laser ablation. I had no clue as to what that was. I kind of could figure out what it might be, but I didn't know what it was. I discovered in the research that it was a new procedure that had been, as I understand it, had been pioneered by Dr. Sperling. So I called his office and got information from one of his staff persons. I called a couple other places that did similar but not the same procedures, and got information from them. I really didn't like what I heard from them. You've got to do it offshore. And so in discussion with Joyce, we decided that we would pursue it with Dr. Sperling's office. Set up the arrangements with Dr. Sperling, went to New York from the Adirondack Mountains, did the biopsies, etc., which was relatively painless, and were shocked when we found out that the Gleason score for me was a Gleason 8. Dr. Sperling explained that that was borderline for doing the focal laser ablation, but that he would do it. He showed us on his big TV screen where the tumors were, how they were being fed, what he would do in the ablation process, and so forth. Within 2 weeks, I would say, following the ablation, I was able to have an erection. Within a short period after that, our sexual life began again. I had no urinary problems. That has remained to this day. The after effects of all of that were basically not there. There weren't any. There haven't been to this date, and everything's working just fine. Currently, we travel. I ride my bike almost every day. We swim almost every day or every other day. We travel by car, we travel by motorhome. Joyce and I continue to do this. We will do it as long as we can. We know that age takes its toll eventually, but we're trying to put that off as long as possible and just keep on going. But I feel fine. I think I'm doing fine. Should anybody investigate focal laser ablation? Absolutely, absolutely. It was painless, it was effective, and I look to the long term for it to remain effective.